All right, let's get right into it. There's no doubt about it, AI has made it easier than ever to build a business. I mean, you can whip up products, churn out content, and automate pretty much anything you can think of. But, and this is a huge but, while building got easy, earning customer trust, well, that's become incredibly hard.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. This one idea is the key to everything right now. The crazy speed you get from AI can actually backfire, destroying your credibility if you're not super intentional about building trust from day one.
And we're all feeling this right now. It's what we call the AI trust deficit. Think about it. We've all been flooded with kind of junky AI products, marketing claims that are way over the top, and these faceless automated companies where there's just no one to talk to. So what's the result? Your customers are now skeptical by default. They're coming in with their guard up.
Okay, so how do we actually fix this? Before we jump into the tactics, we've got to understand the psychology here. What actually makes a person look at a brand and think, yeah, I can trust them? It really boils down to 4 key pillars.
Here they are. First, competence. Can you actually do what you say you can do? Second, transparency. Are you open and honest about how your stuff works? Third, consistency. Do you deliver that same quality experience every single time? And finally, accountability. When something inevitably goes wrong, are you going to step up and make it right? Now, what's fascinating is that most AI companies only focus on number 1, competence. And honestly, a lot of them can't even prove that. The real opportunity here is to bake all 4 of these into the DNA of your brand.
All right, let's get into our first big strategy, and it's all about humanizing your AI. We need to bridge that gap between the speed of automation and the feeling of accountability. The winning model today? It isn't a 100% faceless AI. It's a hybrid.
And this comparison just shows it perfectly. On the left, you've got this weak, generic claim. Our AI generates your marketing copy. Okay, fine, but look at the right. By framing it as AI handling the heavy lifting with an expert making the final call, you instantly add layers of trust, quality, and accountability. It's the same technology, but the perceived value is just night and day.
This leads us to something we can call the hybrid trust stack. It's a pretty simple idea. You let the AI do what it's amazing at, the speed, the efficiency, the scale. But then you layer human oversight right on top of that for the validation, the strategy, and that critical piece, accountability. This is the model that wins people over.
Okay, on to our next strategy, and this one is absolutely crucial. See, most brands just make claims. They make promises. But the brands we really trust, they sell verified outcomes. It's all about making that shift from just telling people you're good to actively showing them.
The big idea here is to build what we call a proof engine inside your business, where everything you do is constantly generating its own evidence. And you can think about it in 4 buckets. You've got performance proof, your hard numbers, your ROI. Process proof, showing how the sausage is made. Social proof, your classic testimonials and case studies. And my favorite, comparative proof, those powerful before and after shots.
Just look at this example. The claim on the left is so forgettable, right? But the statement on the right, that's not just a claim. It's a piece of content that is the proof. When you run public experiments and you transparently share what worked and, yeah, even what didn't work, you build this massive moat of authority and trust that no one can touch.
So now let's talk about packaging, because how you position and frame what you do is just as important as the tech itself. This is where you literally design your offer to feel instantly credible.
I mean, a vague statement like, "We use AI to grow your business," just creates this huge trust gap. The customer is left with a million questions. But look at the one on the right. It's hyper-specific. It says who it's for, what it does, and how it's validated. It immediately answers all those unspoken questions and makes the potential customer feel like, okay, these people get me. And this same logic applies right down to what you name your product. AI content generator sounds like a cheap dime-a-dozen tool, but the authority content engine, that sounds like a proprietary system, a real solution. It's a simple change in words, but it moves you from selling a feature to selling a valuable outcome. And hey, creating a system isn't as complicated as it sounds. You just break your process down into clear stages, explain the why behind each step, show it in action with real examples, and then you connect a specific outcome to each phase. When you do that, your offer becomes way easier to understand, to trust, and of course, to buy.
And finally, you have to embrace what I call radical transparency. Overpromising is the fastest way to kill trust. That weak claim on the left, that's just a recipe for disappointment. But the one on the right, it's honest. It sets real expectations. Being this upfront about limitations is a massive competitive advantage because it signals confidence.
So,
Let's pull all this together. Building trust isn't some one-and-done task you check off a list. It needs to be a self-reinforcing system, a compounding asset that makes your brand stronger and stronger over time.
This is the flywheel. It's simple. You deliver incredible results. Then you systematically capture proof of those results. You publish that proof everywhere: case studies, articles, social posts. That proof then attracts even better, higher quality clients. And the cycle just repeats, spinning faster and faster each time. This is how you become the default, trusted choice.
And really, this is the bottom line. In today's world, anyone can build something fast with AI. But very, very few can build a brand that people actually rely on, day in and day out. That's the real asset. That's the thing that can't be copied.
So the question I want to leave you with is this. Is the way you're using AI just chasing short-term sales? Or are you strategically using it to build a long-term asset of trust that's going to fuel your growth for years and years to come?